guys, how you doing? How are you? How's everybody? You guys are doing okay? All right, let's go ahead and invite everybody. Let's go ahead and invite as many people as possible. Okay? Hi, Kabasi, Banshet Clark. Thank you, everybody. But let's go ahead and invite as many people as possible. Atai Kide, thank you very much. Thank you, Atar. Thank you, everybody. Let's just gather everybody around. It's important what I'm going to say. Oh, yes. The main man is in the house. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, gather everybody around, guys. As you may have noticed, or if you don't know, then you need to begin to know that orange is the color. Orange is the color. The nonsense that is going on in Nigeria, the uselessness of the powers that be, and all the nonsensical attitudes of people in Nigeria is beginning to get some resistance. And in case you don't know, orange is the color. You're going to hear more about this. You're going to hear more about the hashtag revolution now. But for sure, something is cooking. You can take that to the banks. And like every revolution, like every other revolution, don't go around looking for who is starting anything anywhere. No. It's not going to be an institution. It's not going to be an organization. It's just going to be right there in the minds of people. It's been planted. The seed was planted. And it was watered. Actually, the seed was planted. A little bit of watering was done and it matured. But now, it's, like when you plant a seed, the farmer begins to, take care of the seed and water the seed. And he does a lot of hard work doing all that, okay? But after this period, even after the crops have been harvested, it goes through processes. Some of it has to go through tanning. Some of it has to go through grinding. Some of it has to go through blending. Something like cassava, you have to grind cassava, you have to put it in a bag when it's wet, and you have to apply pressure on the cassava before it is ready to be eaten. Well, that is what has happened with Nigeria. A lot of people like Omoyole Sowore, like Nnamdi Kanu, like Kingsley Moghalu, like Foladuro Toye, like Obieze Kwesili, a lot of other young people at the last election, and even before the election, came and they were sowing seeds. They were trying to educate people on what to do, and some people listened, some people did not listen, including yours sincerely, came with our message. And they said, oh, you people are just talk. You're full of talk. What we need now is not talk. We said, okay. But we went ahead and we did what we had to do. We toured all over the place. We went about without security. We went into the villages. We endured hardship. When there was money and when there was no money. Only when you read the books that we will write later that you will understand how difficult it was for us to leave our comfort zones overseas to come back to Nigeria and try to participate in an election. You don't want to know. You have no idea what it took for us to be part of that election. But we came and spoke to people, and we were a bit disappointed because, of course, they appointed whoever they wanted to appoint. They assigned votes to us. It's ridiculous. After the election, they just assign you one vote in a polling station, even a polling station where that you had like 2 or 3 of your members and other people. Your family members voted there, your school people voted, everybody voted. At the end of the day, you just get one vote. But I didn't come here to just talk about the election. What I came to tell you is that all those things that we did, all those seeds that we planted, guess what? They germinated. It looked like we wasted our time, just like the farmer who put the seed in the ground. You come the next day, nothing is happening. You come again, nothing is happening. Sometimes even the weed starts to grow before you begin to see the seed come out. But something was happening under. The seed that we planted was developing roots, and the root was going into the ground. It was preparing itself for the seed to begin to germinate. That's the first thing that comes out when you plant a seed. I don't know if you did that experiment where you put the thing in a glass jar, put like a bean in a glass jar with cotton wool. The first thing you're going to see is the root will come out. Okay? Sometimes it is the stem, but for it to grow bigger, the root has to go into the ground. Anyways, it took roots and grew. Not only a few weeks after the elections, people started suffering. They started feeling the heat. Even before the government of Nigeria was sworn into power, people were feeling the heat of the suffering in Nigeria. But do you know what applied pressure to this seed that we planted? To this seed of revolution that we planted? What made it ripe and ready now for consumption? Just like sometimes the harmattan has to come and dry something like corn or millet or whatever before you can process it. It was the suffering, it was the hardship. It was the useless programs of the government in Nigeria, the poverty, the killing from the herdsmen, the destruction that was perpetrated by Boko Haram, and all kinds of terrible situations in Nigeria. That is what puts the pressure that was needed for people to come to their senses. And now all of a sudden, the people are ready. The seed that we planted is now ready. It is ready. This is consummation time. It is time that this revolution is ready to be consumed. Consumed by the people that it was meant for. And a lot of people say, Chidi, why do you say this? You only need to look around. Who would have thought that in Nigeria, that the happenings inside the church will bring people out to demonstrate? That is a sign that the people are ready. They were not ready when we came to talk to them, but now they are ready. Look at that. The Kosa thing happened. They demonstrated. The pastor stepped down. The Ruga issue came up. People protested all over the social media. The government has suspended that. Now again, this stupid senator went to hit a girl in a sex toy shop, and the people protested. First of all, he was too big to make um, to offer any apology, but finally he offered an apology, even though that's like a shabby apology. That's not even an acceptable apology, because he's even talking about the Church of Christ that is under attack and blah blah blah. That is absolute nonsense. So today, what I came to talk about under this new wave that is happening and is about to sweep the whole country. This new wave that is about to sweep the whole country. You're going to be seeing a lot of what I'm talking about happening in the days to come. And it's not going to be any violent thing. It's just going to be a quiet storm. It's going to be through passive resistance. It's going to be through saying no. It's going to be through drawing a line and saying, we will not take this anymore. But certainly you're going to see it happen. Now let me zoom in on the topic for today, which is that your pastor is human. I'm going to be speaking to pastors and people who are not pastors. I'm going to be focusing on people who think that their pastor is not a human being, and on pastors who think that because they have the anointing of God upon their lives, they are superhuman. That is an absolute lie. You see, those of us who abrogate the position of superhuman to a pastor are the ones who actually make our pastors fall into the traps that they get caught up in. And then it is the pastor who has presented an image of superhuman to those who are his followers. You are the one that allows yourself to be entrapped inside the trap that you find yourself today. Let me tell you what happens. A pastor starts normal, no big deal. He prays hard, he's spiritual, he reads his Bible, he fears God, he offers himself to be held accountable by the people, even without telling them, but by the things you do. You don't want to be caught in certain places, you don't want to say certain things, because you know the people will hold you accountable. So you go about your business with the fear of God. And then your congregation begins to increase. And as your congregation begins to increase, it gets to a point where they even begin to call you Papa. Nobody questions you. You handpick the leaders of the church. You handpick the board of trustees and the board members, board of elders in the church. You handpick the people that agree with you so they don't query you. So all of a sudden, sometimes you give a prophecy, the prophecy doesn't come to pass. Instead of you coming and apologizing and saying it the way it is, you don't know why. You thought you heard, but maybe you didn't hear. You come and you twist the word of God to defend yourself. So before you know it, you'll become perfect in the eyes of people. Nobody can challenge you. The worst thing that can happen to you is for you to come to a point in your life where there is nobody that you are afraid of. Nobody can challenge you. You are the only medicine man in the village. And so, everyone is at your beck and call. You suddenly are even amazed at the new power that you find that you have. So, you begin to call people. You call ladies. to come and help you with something, and they just answer. You instruct people not to be in a relationship, and they obey you. You are in need of money, and you fail to resist the temptation of exercising the kind of authority or influence that you have on people. So you just come and you stand on the pulpit and you request for money. And people respond to that and they give you money. Just like that. So now you have authority, you have dominion, you have access to cash. Some women who are emotionally and totally destroyed, they come to you and they are willing to offer their bodies as sacrifice to you, and you are shocked and you are amazed at this. Instead of you finding a way to beat your head back to shape, instead of you finding something like the pain that St. Paul had by his side that keeps reminding him of who he is, you allow yourself to flow. Just flow with things. But guess what happened? You started breaking down your barriers. You that had a very high wall of protection around yourself, now you started breaking that protection. Started allowing a little wine, just a little percentage of wine. And then somebody says, why don't you try this one? And before you know it, you graduate to hard liquor. I'm not here to speak against anybody who likes alcohol. That's not what I'm talking about. But if you are not doing it before, you gradually find yourself into that. Then you begin to travel to give speeches here and there. And then you begin to find yourself in hotels and away from your family, away from your wife, away from your kids, and the hotel room, and you have a PA. Now there are people running all around you, young girls who call you daddy, and by the way they carry themselves around you, they are willing to do any and everything that you want. Then you begin to indulge yourself. You begin to try your hands on these things. Can you imagine you just come to a hotel, you have a big hotel to yourself, and there are free girls all over the place. The hotel you're staying is not a church. It's still a secular environment. There's the music on the TV, on the cable is not tailored to you. The hotel doesn't know that you're a pastor. So the kind of things that you watch on TV in the night in the hotel room alone, nobody is there to monitor it. Why am I even going so far? Of course, you have your phone. You can watch anything you want on your phone. Suddenly, there are numbers on the phone that can tell you to call them. You know what I mean? And you can call these numbers, and there's a lady on the other side of the number, and they can engage you to talking with them for a few minutes. You can do trial. All you have to do is just give them the number of your credit card, and you can do trial. And the lady can talk to you. They can do sexting with you. Just talk some dirty things that you don't get from your wife at home. And you're scared to come and tell your wife about that, because that's not how you guys started. You know she's going to ask you, why are you asking me to talk like this? Where did you get all that from? So you have all this, your secret life. You begin to allow it to grow and grow and grow. You don't discuss it with anybody. And then you discover that Google has, what do they call that kind of browsing? You know, where you can browse and delete it and nobody will know. And so now you log into all the pornographic sites and you do your thing, even while you're inside church office. You know, your Facebook, you begin to store numbers with fake names, numbers of the girls in church, numbers of girls that you meet in another, when you go for, what do you call it, when you go for seminars, when you go to speak in other places. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to do that. What I'm trying to say is, I'm trying to paint a picture so that you see how you allowed yourself to get to a point of no return. Sorry, I'm by the railway line, and there's going to be the noise of train passing, so you guys just bear with me. I don't know if you're going to see. Yeah. So that's the train. Yeah, incognito browsing. Yeah, that's what it's called. It's called going incognito. See, you must understand that for everything, for every tool that is available for you to use, that tool, you can also use it to your own detriment, okay? So in as much as Google made that incognito browsing so that you can browse and not leave traces of your browsing, like maybe your bank account or other delicate things that you were searching, you have to be careful, because that can be a tunnel, that can be a gateway to destruction for you. And I know a lot of men of God who have been destroyed by just the site that they browse. So you got to be very, very careful when you go on incognito and you go to all those pornographic sites and you watch all those pornographic movies. Anyways, for you that is a pastor, all these things I just described right now, you don't have to be, the reason why I'm describing them to you is for you to know that these are regular things that happen with regular people. But the only difference between one person and the other person is a recognition of the fact that they are a human being. Okay, Firefox is what? Thank you so much, Obioha. The difference is when you recognize that you are human. And because you recognize that you are human, it is important that you do not play with certain things. You don't play with certain fires, because they will burn you. They will finish you. Number one fire that you weren't playing with because you thought you were superhuman is when you go visiting girls, visiting females alone. When you start giving counseling to people and you keep digging deeper into their affairs, only you knowing about it. No deacon knows about it. No elder knows about it. You set yourself up when you started. Oh my goodness. I hope this train noise can let you guys hear what I'm saying. If you can hear me, please let me see some thumbs up. If the noise is too much, I'll wait till the train finishes and I'll continue. Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me, please give me thumbs up. But if the noise is too much, let me just stop. Okay, you can hear me. Anyways, so you go ahead and you counsel ladies, and even when this counseling starts getting out of hand, you don't tell anybody else because you did not understand that maybe, oh, I can't use the headset right now, sorry about that. Oh, you can hear me, okay, good. So, these ladies, maybe they already planned for you and you didn't know that. What you should have done is, when this counseling, when your discussion with these ladies, when your relationship with them starts getting out of hand, you should have let somebody else into what was happening. You know what I do with my wife? Sometimes when someone sends me some kind of text, strange text, and I get that all the time, I let my wife in on what is happening. That is my safety mechanism. I don't just continue with it. You know, if somebody texts you, hey, Brother Chidi, how about this, how about that? Can you help me with that? I say, for sure. Right? And then after a while, next time, Brother Chidi, how is your day? I say, fine. Okay, take care. Love, XXXX. Love who? Me? And you know I'm married. You know my wife is there. What kind of joke is that? No, I don't joke that kind of joke. Next thing is, oh, it was nice talking to you, Bro Chidi, you know. Talking to you just makes my heart, you know, and I find peace. And no. It is time to get very, very serious. It is time, because let me tell you the truth. Don't keep it to yourself. Just let your wife know. There is safety in that. That way, your wife can advise you. That way, your wife can tell you, come on, honey, baby, be careful, oh. This person, I'm a woman. This person is going this way, oh. Because as a man, sometimes you don't understand. Somebody can come after you disguised as somebody who is emotionally wrecked, and they are not. They know exactly what they are doing. So as a man, as a pastor, you are human. You need help. You need mechanisms to help you guard against some of these things. It is when you pretend that you are spiritual, that's when you fall into all these kinds of things. Telling you. Now, let me talk a little bit about some of us who think that our pastor is not a human being. When initially we notice that our pastor has some feelings towards us, and instead of addressing it for what it is, we just play with it. We just say, you know what, he's a man of God, he's being spiritual, I'm sure he'll get over it, you know, God understands. No, you are not helping the man of God, because the man of God is a human being like you. And when we hear from some other person, maybe a member of the church, that they notice, did you notice that with all the ladies who have been involved in these things with pastors, they always tell you that they told somebody, but the person dismissed it because they said, Haba, how can you be talking about our pastor? That man is a man of God. That is not true. When you hear that a pastor did something, the first reaction you should have is to be neutral about things. Don't jump to the conclusion that he is a man of God, he is infallible, he is not capable of committing that kind of sin. Haba. No, now. Come on now. This guy is a pastor now. No. Don't say that. You're not helping him. You're not. You need to realize that he is capable of doing that same thing that they said he did. That is how you will be able to help these people. They need this revolution that we're talking about. Even in the church, it has started. It is needed, and you will see more of that. All the people who thought that they have gotten away with their own nonsense that they did, crimes that they committed against their church members, this revolution is coming after them one by one. We're not talking about people who got involved in sin and they genuinely repented, because that's one thing you have to understand. If somebody is in Christ and their sins are forgiven, they are a new creature, and behold, all things have passed away and all things have become new. You cannot go accusing somebody who has sinned and who have recognized their sin and who have turned away from their sin and have done restitution and they have asked for forgiveness, especially from the person they committed this sin against. You cannot go about talking about it. Nobody will even listen to you. And so those are not the people we're talking about. But you see those ones who committed these sins because of their superhuman nature that they have adopted in their churches, and they go around doing these things and nobody queries them and nobody asks them any questions. We are coming after you. And when I say we, I mean all of we, and we are many. Everybody who is fed up with what is going on in Nigeria is part of us. Everybody who is tired of being tired is part of us. In the church, in the mosque, in the workplace, amongst the student body. Meanwhile, I heard that the students who were held at this university have been released. I think it's Madonna University. Those are the kind of things that will continue to happen until we dismantle even those at the head. So, my message to you today is for you to recognize that your pastor is a human being. When you hear that he did something, don't always jump to conclusion that somebody is trying to frame them. No way. They are capable of falling into sin. And I've just described to you those ones who are capable of falling into sin. And for you that is a pastor, who is a man of God, and you keep going about and acting like you are not a human being, the things that happen to people who think that they are not human beings will happen to you one day. You know these people that go to native doctor and they go and the native doctor does this medicine they call odeshi for them. The day they will discover that that odeshi is not real is the day that somebody shoots them and they die. So you that is the pastor and you're going about your business like you're superhuman, continue. Just continue. Very soon, you will see that you're human. I will be there to tell you. There are so many things that we're going to be talking about in the days to come. Just stay tuned. But just know it that the revolution is here to stay. The revolution is matured. The revolution is now. There is no going back. There is no going back. You're going to hear more in the days to come. I know people are shivering all over the place. And my message and the message for all of them is that you have a reason to be shivering. You have a reason to be shivering. There's no escape. Whether as long as you're a pastor that you misbehave, we will bring you to book. Yes, people say, just leave them with God. When a pastor, and you guys know that I'm talking about something that I understand, being a minister myself, You cannot depend on people, human beings, to build the church. You cannot depend on human beings to bring offerings into the church and, yes, build the church and make things happen in the church. But when you find yourself misbehaving, you want God to be the one to judge you. How about now? If it worked that way, then anytime we need money in the church, we'll just go and ask God and God will drop the money from here. If that was how money came into the church, then we would say nobody should hold the pastors accountable. But as long as we run to our fellow human beings in the church to rally around the church and help build the church, we must also be ready when these people hold us accountable. So if you're a pastor, my brother, guard this your salvation. Pursue it with fear and trembling. Know that you war against principalities, against powers. It's not a joke. Stop joking. Stop joking about. Okay? Stop thinking that when people come to judge you, the verse from the Bible that says, touch not my anointed, will just, come out and the people will run away. Not like that anymore. The revolution has caught up with you. Okay? I want you to know that all those people, all those ladies that you give your numbers and that you met in hotels all over the world, they are being empowered by the revolution more and more, and they're going to speak. A lot more heads are going to roll. And don't worry about the church. Don't you worry about the church. Didn't you hear that the church of God will continue to progress and the gates of hell will not prevail against it? Didn't you know that the Lord God Almighty, Jesus Christ himself, is building his church? It's not any pastor, it's not any human being. So don't be worried about them. If God has to take down all the bad pastors for his church to grow, he will do it. And he's going to use me and you. He's going to use people who are ready. If there are only 1 or 2 or 3 good pastors left, we will continue with them. But get ready. As they will always say, you will not see the revolution. No. You will not see it being advertised on TV. You will not see it on the pages of the newspaper. So you'll be thinking, who are these people now? Should be them talk, see, where them they now? Where? No. It will crawl up on you. And it will catch up with you. The time is now. We are not going back anymore. Because if we don't do it, there will be no future for our children. There will be no future. Right now, our generation, we have crossed the river. We have crossed so we are like this. We are coming down the other side of our life. They've destroyed everything, for nothing left for us anymore. But our unborn children, we cannot look at them and be giving them excuses. They're going to ask us, Daddy, Mommy, what did you do? When you saw these things happening, what did you do? God forbid that I'll look at my 9-year-old son a couple of years from now and tell him that, you know what, I knew when this was happening, I knew when that was happening, but there was nothing I could do. He's going to ask me, why couldn't you talk? Because I'll be telling him, learn to stand up for your right. Learn to stand up for your right. Learn to speak up. Do something. If you hear something, if you see something, do something. And he's going to ask me, what did you do when it was your turn? And that's why me and everybody who is fed up, we are beating this drum, sounding this trumpet about the revolution now. And the color is orange. A lot of you are asking, why this orange color? Like I said, there'll be a lot of explanations. And it could metamorphosize into something else. It could become another color tomorrow. But you're going to see a lot of people with this beret. A lot of people already started wearing this beret all over the place. As you all know, beret is a sign of resistance. Red beret usually is what people are used to. But you know, in Nigeria, people easily want to twist what you're doing. And so before you know it, they'll begin to say that, oh, it's a cult. Red beret stands for this. You wear black, they say black is for these people. You wear yellow, they say yellow is for the other people. So we had to settle for a color orange. And I'll be posting up the characteristics of the color orange. Orange is not very aggressive. Orange signifies hope. It is a place to start, to begin to build back hope and give people, the momentum that they need before they can finally attain that level that they need to attain to take back what belongs to them. So I'm going to stop here for today, but let me summarize by telling you that your pastor is a human being, and you telling you, the pastor, to stop acting like you're not human, because you are human. And if you don't take measures to make sure that you guard yourself against so many things, you're going to fall like a pack of cards. And when you fall and what you have done catches up with you, don't start crying or screaming or throwing up all these cards, because we warned you before. All right, take care of yourself now. I gotta go. My kids have finished with their playing. You can hear the trains coming behind me and the ice cream truck also coming. All right, so love you guys. This is Chidi, and I'll see you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves, okay? Bye bye.